welcome back to another one of our fun little Banesbreak vignettes. Today, featuring Gybe and Kurse. Look at you two. Are y'all ready to just like literally get into this?
Literally ready.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
It is a long voyage from Cornucopia, and you've been at sea now for quite a time. After that botched crew mutiny, it's been all hands on deck with unfortunately little downtime. Thankfully, Carmine, the first mate, and Omeg, the bosun, have managed to keep the show on the road, and with fewer mouths to feed, Spice, the cook, has been helping out on deck as well. Nevertheless, reprieve comes one day into the journey when a small island is spotted off the starboard bow. Mounds of sand and swaying palms visible from here. Thranok, your captain, leans over the railing, tooth flashing and eye bulging, before spinning about. What the shit? Where the hell are we? There's not supposed to be any islands on this route. Drop anchor! And you feel the ship lurch as the anchor is dropped and finds purchase, while Thranok waddles into his quarters with a compass and sextant in hand, muttering about his navigator being dead. Neela ties off some rigging, sighs, and follows him inside with a map in hand. Aside from that, it's the two of you, Carmine, Omeg, and Astrid above decks, who approaches you. Hey, you guys want to head over to the island? I was thinking of maybe taking the dinghy out to check if there was anything we wanted to like do there, or hang out, or just have like make a day of it.
On the surprise island?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna be here for a minute. Thought maybe we'd just like have some fun.
Okay, I see Kurse smiling a lot at the idea of Surprise Island. Yes, actually, Astrid, do you mind if I step to the side with you for 1 second to talk with you?
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's go aft.
Yeah, just in terms of
You taught me that.
figuring out the specific plans. Oh, you don't have to do that. We'll whisper. Listen, Kurse seems very excited to go see the island. Is there possibly a chance that maybe she and I could go scout ahead a little bit before everybody joins?
Oh. Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, oh, I gotta get a new bottle. Look at that. You know what? You guys, yeah, go ahead, and check it out. Let us know if it's safe, and I'll go rustle everybody up, and we'll, like, maybe join you later. After I, put this bottle back. I don't have very many of those, actually. I don't know why I did
are you
that.
sure that no one can else? That's such a tragedy that no one else can clean up the bottle but you, I suppose.
No, I'm the only bottle person here.
Yes,
Only I can do bottles.
That's like your specific skill set that no one else seems to
Neela
have.
has cups, I have bottles.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yes. So thank you very much. Well, Astrid, it's always a pleasure, and I shake your hand, and I want to slip a coin into your hand.
Ooh, what did you give her?
I think the first thing that I reached into my pocket, and I think it's a lot of money. I think it's like, and afterwards, like when I feel the weight of it pass through, I realize it's like a Trevor. I'm just like, shit.
Astrid's holding like literally 7 or 8 Travers. It's like a handful of gold. Yeah. Which, I mean, she has that now, so keep that in mind, Ash.
Why are you saying it like
but she's dead. I don't know. God.
Here but not forgotten. To a real one.
To a real one.
Just in the other room.
After I see them kind of like wrap up, I go, Astrid, your bottle. Oh no, are you okay?
Oh, I'm fine. Yeah.
Oh, let me get Bryce. She has mending.
Oh no, you know what? It's okay. She's downstairs, I think, meditating. I'll go talk to her to see if she can fix it. We have this. You guys go have fun. Like, go have a great time at the island, and we'll come by after the bottle crisis has passed.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, okay. And she goes below decks.
I think our friendship is only getting deeper and more personal. And I head over to you. So it's actually it's just going to be the two of us to go to the island and investigate. Yeah, I paid off Astrid so that we could just go to the island, just you and me.
She broke the bottle?
Yes, it was a little bit more dramatic than I expected.
That seems super unnecessary. Also, I think paying her was probably unnecessary.
I mean, I meant it to be more of a gesture, and I'm going to be honest, I will have to, at some point, get that money back. But...
Okay.
No,
It just-
dog.
Damn it! My nose starts to bleed, and I just kind of just pack it up. But at the time, it seemed like a thing. I just wanted to tip her, I guess. I was a little bit nervous.
I could tell.
Oh, you could. It's just that it seemed like you wanted to go see the island, and I didn't want anyone to interrupt any adventuring that you'd like to do. Every so often, when we go out to places, either we end up splitting out on our own, or it becomes a whole thing where everyone talks for a long time, and I wanted to avoid the latter, so I figured we could just make our way.
Yeah. That sounds great.
Okay.
Hopefully it's not a terrible murder island.
Well, luckily, if it is, you've got your scimitar. And also, I do hope that it's not a terrible murder island as well. Yes, yeah.
Great.
You indeed find a dinghy attached to the side of the boat, and doesn't take much to lower it down to the sea below.
Do you know how to row a boat?
Of course, I'm going to ask you a very quick question. Do you know who I am?
Okay. Sorry, I just got here and I was very overwhelmed by lack of. I don't know how to.
The trick really with the dinghy is that you want to row with the rhythm of the ocean, and you're not pushing against it. The water itself is actually going to bring you to the shore, save for some very unique currents. So all we have to do is literally go with the flow, I suppose.
Great.
Okay. And we row.
Climbing down to the dinghy and setting off, you are, as far as you can tell, in the middle of open ocean. There's nothing but horizon for as far as you can see, save for this one little island. Speaking of, from the dinghy, you're looking at what appears to be little more than a glorified sandbar. Granted, you can't see all of it from here. It's decorated with sparse, if pleasantly swaying, palm trees, black sand beaches, crystal clear turquoise shoals, and rainbow corals replete as you paddle in.
I will indicate to the coral as we're rowing over, because I would assume the water is very clear.
Very clear.
So, oh look, Kurse, it's like a rainbow coral.
That's incredible. I had never been on the water before all of this, so not like on the outside where I could see it.
That makes sense. Yeah, and I'll paddle to.
I've been on things that floated across the water, but I couldn't see anything.
And also, when the water's too deep, you can't see the bottom. This is this is my favorite part. I grew up close to the water, in sort of like a beach town. A little bit of a walk from the beach, but like close. And this is my favorite part because you're peering into a different world.
She just like locks eyes on the rainbow coral for a minute. That's cool. I'm glad we get to take a little time to do something that feels familiar for you.
Thank you. The thing about the ocean is it's, I suppose, always a little unfamiliar. And that's the thing I think I like about it. The very liquid, sort of chaotic energy behind it. I find that oddly comforting. And I'll actually row against the waves a little bit just so we can stay there for a couple minutes.
Yeah, just basking in the corals.
Yes.
Is it safe to touch?
You looked at me for a second.
Hand is off the boat.
It's the thing is it's a very sensitive ecosystem.
Oh!
It's getting real.
But I suppose if you hurt the coral, you could technically cast your wounds.
I don't want to hurt the coral.
Oh.
That's not my intentions. I'm good. No, I'm good. That's great. It's beautiful.
Okay, I'm not quite sure. It's just in general, like it's sort of a protected ecological space in many places in the world.
We
But
can just keep going. We can keep the island.
okay.
I will say, though, Kurse, as you did dunk your hand into the water, you felt like the tip of a finger, the back of a nail, lightly grazed the coral.
Oh,
and
I thought you meant I felt the tip of someone else's fingernail.
We're going
And this was going to be the
horror
worst
again.
day.
The worst day ever. You feel your finger just lightly graze the coral, and you were expecting something quite jagged, rough, even cutting, and much of the coral might be, but you actually feel almost like the little just like tickle of an anemone, one of those guys, which just lightly grazes your finger and like recedes back into its pod. It's not unwelcome, if a little odd feeling, but it's not all that shocking.
Oh, yeah, you found a sea anemone.
He can say it.
I did do 2 quarters of marine biology.
I consider no animal my enemy. No, I'm kidding. I know what a sea anemone is.
That's so fun because it's actually, it feels a little stingy because it's protecting itself, and then it retracts in, and sort of my favorite thing about it is that given time, it actually just sort of opens back up. It's like a living flower, a little bit.
I will call it Pretiv.
I will 100% let her know that she was named after a sea anemone. I like that very much. No.
Nope.
That's not what I'll be telling her, let me tell you.
The anemone came first.
Great.
You pull to shore. Warm sand beneath your feet, salty sea breezes through your hair. The wind carries additional sweet, floral scents from a little deeper on the island, and palm trees are just ahead of you. Gybe, you're actually mildly surprised to note that in addition to ordinary oil palms and coconut palms, you spy date palms mixed in here as well, which are not native at all to these sorts of islands. Further, there's what looks like an old path laid of driftwood winding through the trees.
Can the driftwood path, is it something that just would generally be made, or is there a specific pattern to this
It
or
looks
type of build?
constructed.
Right. Does it look familiar to me, if that makes sense?
Roll me perception,
Okay.
just to sort of analyze that a little bit.
Here we go. Let me pull this out to give myself a little space.
Yeah,
I'm not
good to
rolling
roll
like
on an
Caleb.
empty dice tray. Yeah, helps.
7.
Doesn't help. Total?
Total.
It just looks like a boardwalk almost, like constructed on the beach, planks of driftwood laid one step after the next. Doesn't really ring familiar, but you've seen this kind of thing in beachy areas all over the world.
Right. Okay, let me ask this second question then. Does it look recently built, or does it look...
I'll give you that much. It looks like it's been here for ages.
Okay, and with date trees, that makes sense. Kurse, it looks like we were not the first to visit this island.
I'm not sure if that's a point towards or away from Murder Island.
Good point. Probably closer if we found no signs of life.
Great.
Yeah.
Let's find out.
Okay.
And she'll like tug on his arm and just start like running into the island.
I love that's just the thing Kurse does.
Yes, it
Just
is.
grabs someone's arm and sprints.
Yes.
You follow the path winding through this little grove of sorts, driftwood sinking just so beneath your feet as you stride, fronds bristling above. You walk for a few minutes, and the palms open to reveal a clearing, featuring a cozy little wooden shack and what looks like a freshwater pool or pond just behind it.
Well, look at that. Someone built a little vacation spot just for us.
Should we go see if someone lives there?
Oh, that's actually a good point. We should make sure that it's not currently occupied. That's a very good point, Kurse.
I'll go and I'll knock on the door.
Yeah. You knock on the door, and honestly, even just as you knock, it swings. As there's no like latch on the door, it's kept very loosely shut. And from where you're standing as it swings open, it looks like the shack's gone unused for some time. Quite dusty in there, but you can't see more without going in.
Should we go in?
I'll illuminate like a very, very small flame in my hand just to like light the way a little bit.
Okay.
I'll pull out my daggers.
Beautiful. And I will say, there's quite a lot of sunlight in this shack. Like, it's lots of open windows, loose curtains, and it burns down. You have a lot of light in here. It's very, very lovely, very breezy. And entering the shack, like I said, it's not been lived in for quite a while. Layers of dust cover every surface, and it's not been maintained at least for some years. There's a sort of nest where you might expect a bed to be in the far corner of the room, cupboards for storage, and what appears to be dried split palm fronds hanging from a rack, along with a flat iron, a semi-spherical wooden orb, a very intricately woven canonical hat hanging from the side of the rack, and a larder with dried goods. But as you walk in, before you react to this space, I want to get a perception roll from both of you.
Okay.
Beans.
So not very much.
Okay. 17.
17, okay.
8.
Well, tell me what you're doing, how you're reacting, what you're saying, what happens as you enter the space.
So in Kurse's like unawareness, she put out her little flame because it was perfectly bright, and I think she got very, very like distracted, and she fell into like, Astrid could prestidigitate this. I wish that I could do something like that and make it a little less dusty. And she's just kind of like taking the space in and the stuff and like the dried goods, but not paying any attention to anything like surrounding her other than like a hat.
It is actually a very nice looking hat.
It's a nice hat.
Gybe, as you walk in along with Kurse, you notice your foot depresses a board on the floor that is looser than all of the others.
God damn, this is how I die. Okay.
What?
Although nothing, it's just Kurse, I might have stepped directly onto a trap.
Detect magic.
You detect no magic.
Oh, it's not even a magical trap. I don't know what to do.
I'm sorry, Kurse. I shouldn't have brought us to this island. I just wanted to have a nice day with you, and I'm sorry, and this is it.
I step onto the same plank.
No, you need to get away as soon as possible. You need to go.
It's too late.
You can get to the dinghy. You saw. Okay, listen, you have to row with the waves. Launching off the beach is the hardest part. You're going to get a little, but you just...
It might just be a loose floorboard.
Oh, shit.
And the bomb goes off. No, God, no.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
We'll step off of it.
Okay, on the count of 3?
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. You both step off? Okay, so Kurse, I overreacted.
Yeah.
And I will be the first one to say it.
You should.
You were correct.
Uh-huh.
It was 100% just a loose floorboard.
Okay.
Which means hidden treasure.
Is that what that means?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, usually when there's a loose floorboard or shoddy building.
I always thought they like painted an X and never mind.
Oh, I mean you could, but this is sort of like the audible version of an X. Do you like in terms of like it would like you would like what I meant to say is.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine, and I'm just gonna reach down and lift up the floorboard.
You pry the board up, which takes very little force. It was quite loose, just neatly laid on this chamber beneath. And you do spy what looks like a little hole in the ground, dug into the earth and then supported with like wood to keep its shape. You see within this space, which is actually feels very chill as you reach your hand in there, there are several bottles stored beneath the floorboards, and they're full of liquid.
I pull the bottles up.
Hefting one.
Strange treasure.
Hefting one, you notice a couple of things. First, they are surprisingly cold, very well chilled, even condensation forming on the outside. And second is the label. It reads in Tabaxi, Ishtasukari, bottled in Katzlin, 9th moon of the year 13,923. And this brings back memories. Gybe, doing some quick math in your head, since Tabaxi track years from the founding of Erebus, not the PT-BT system that everyone else uses, that would put the bottling of this brew to about 8 years ago. There's glasses in the hidey hole as well, and this was evidently someone's personal stash in years gone by.
Do you know what this is?
I have absolutely no idea.
This is a sweet drink. Like a non-alcoholic drink, but it fills you with the warmth as if you were drinking something that like Neela might serve up. And it's directly tied to the moons. Like you make it under like a blessed moon. It's a very special drink. It's saved for very special times.
Are we stealing it?
Do you want to?
I don't know yet. It doesn't seem like anybody's coming back here. Oh, I hope they're okay.
Yeah. Well, it seems like someone who's very adept at traveling. If they were able to build the shelter and everything, I think that they're doing quite all right. And they haven't been here for quite a while. I don't quite understand magic, per se, or fate. Traveling through time, I've mostly just held onto my daggers and been like, if someone's trying to kill me, I kill them back. But in a weird way, I think that possibly we might have been fated to find these bottles and just have this little bit of time. So I don't know if we're necessarily sealing. It's more of maybe making good on something that was destined, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
What time of day is it?
I'd say it's late morning.
Okay. What do you say we tidy this place up a little bit for us, and then also for the next people who come across this area, and tonight, under the moon, we open this bottle.
That sounds excellent.
Okay.
I'm glad that wasn't a trap.
Me too. Oh my god. I'm sorry if I scared you at all.
You mostly scared yourself.
I was very frightened. And I'm glad it wasn't. What a surprise. What a sweet, literally a sweet surprise.
And then Kurse will, is there any magic spell I can do? Is there anything I can do to clean this up? Because labor is not it.
That's fair. I mean, look, a lot of windows, sea breezes. I'm also open to creative interpretations of how you could just flush some air in here and kick up that dust. However you want to approach this.
Yeah, I'm gonna say for her part, part of what I'll do is make it just kind of like a little more lively in here as well. So I'll like spring forward some more plants, like plant growth in through the windows a little bit and like up the walls to make it look like just a little more alive and add a little bit of color into this space while just kind of like dusting things off.
Make this abandoned house an abandoned home. Great. And Gybe?
I tidy everything up. Traveling on ships, you have to be meticulously clean.
A lot of swabbing.
Yes, a lot of swabbing. You don't want anything to get infected. And so ships are very clean spaces for those reasons, because we're stuck in a small living space for a long period of time. So I tidy everything up, but the thing is, like, also like any decorative elements, what I've done is I've gathered them in one place, like onto a table or something.
Okay.
Onto a surface, and I go up to Kurse. I don't want to assume, but I figured you never had like a space you could like make your own. Well, we're only here for a little bit, so I know it's not quite like a permanent situation. But if you'd like to, these are the only things I could find. If you want to decorate the space for your own, just make it yours for a couple hours.
I would rather you do it with me.
Sure, absolutely.
And I will. I'll grab any of the things off of it and kind of like straighten out anything on the walls and like maybe pick off a couple of the flowers and put them into like a cup or something, like a vase around the space.
Yeah. I'll say, yeah, in a bit of time, you certainly have time to decorate, to liven up, to spruce, to beautify this little shack with various both collected decorations from the building around you and also a few things from perhaps around the island. There's time as well to even gather a few dates for snacks, crack open a coconut, and prepare for a relaxing evening, which does indeed come as the sun sets and night casts over the island. What do you do?
I do really like traveling and helping people. Can you imagine?
Imagine what?
I don't know, being able to stay somewhere?
Yeah. I think before I wasn't able to really think about that, but recently it's been something, even something as simple as like a home base to come back to. Yeah. I pull out the bottle and I pour like 2 glasses. Do you mind if I ask you a question, Kurse?
Anything, sure.
You ran away from the circus.
Yeah.
And I understand you would have reasons to run away from a place like that.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, what were you running towards?
Anything? Honestly?
Yeah.
I I knew what the world looked like.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I didn't really know what it felt like at all. And I loved watching when people would come to the circus and trying to pick up little pieces of their life. Like just peeking out from behind the curtains and hearing them talk about their work and their families and it felt like I built little worlds around people I didn't know. And some of them were just very simple lives, like a blacksmith and, you know, her wife and their kids. And then there were adventurers that would come and see the circus. And I'm sure that I made up a lot of the stories of them in my head, but I wanted to be able to meet them. That would be really nice, instead of them just seeing me, to go and introduce myself. Or maybe go on adventures of my own.
Is that what you want? I mean, like, you know, you ran away from something, but you could have run towards anything, in a way. And I give you a glass of the Sakari.
It was mostly just running towards feelings, I guess. I guess I could have left at any time, but it just felt like it was finally right.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Sometimes you just find the right day to start a fire.
And sometimes you find the right day to start a fire. Yeah, that's true. That's good.
But you ran away too.
I did.
I guess I don't know as well what you were running for or from.
I suppose my running was a little bit more of sailing than being on my feet as compared to you. And I drink a sip of the Sakari. And the moon's out?
Mm-hmm. There is, in fact, a full moon rising over the horizon above you.
And if this is too much, let me know. But I grew up in a small village, and I was going to be the son of a farmer until I was the farmer. And then I would have children. And then they would also do coastal farming. And it's a glorious life. It's miraculous in the everyday complexities and simplicities that you face. But something called to me. It's, and I kind of like nestle back. I assume we're like sitting against something?
Yeah.
If I may.
Oh.
As you're talking, you've wandered outside toward the back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get into what you see out there in a moment, but please.
Okay.
You're sort of like walking and talking.
Oh, okay,
a bit.
perfect.
Yeah.
In my culture, the moon is the most beautiful thing in existence. She is our goddess, Saga. And at night, everything worships her. During the day, people go about their business, sell their wares, animals run around, plants open up and close. But at night, it goes quiet. And that's where the sacred sensation comes from. Certain plants, jasmines and such, open up at night. They bloom. You hear the insects all sing to her. And certain other creatures howl to her, specifically. But there is only one thing in this world that actually reaches out to her, and that is the ocean. She is paired with the sun. They are partner deities, but the ocean itself actually rises up on full moons like this and reaches up into the sky, even though it cannot quite reach her. It tries. And I felt a tugging in my existence, even at a young age. And again, and I drink a little bit more of the Sakara as liquid courage in a bit. Very sugary liquid courage. This is going to sound so ridiculous, Kurse, but I think every single time I was at the front of a ship with that salty water just spraying my face, my eyes were open and so excited, and I couldn't get to that horizon fast enough. I think that pull that I felt, like the ocean to the moon, I think it was you. And I can't explain it, I'm not that smart. I mostly just take things and run. But, I don't know. There's been traveling through different times and impossible magics and people appearing and disappearing. What's to say that that's not true? It's not just a feeling, but actually a reality that we were calling to each other through time. And I just heeded that call. That's what I'm running towards.
Make a lot of things make sense.
That's how I feel about you too. Especially with everything going on, because nothing makes sense.
Nothing in the whole world should make any sense, and I am so happy we fell through time and into so much danger together.
Me too.
You two have found yourselves around the back of the house at a lovely little pool that now, catching the glimpses of moonlight from the full moon hanging above you, seems to almost illuminate on its own. Getting closer, you realize it was indeed crafted intricately by hand, channeling spring water into a freshwater basin that could be relaxed in, drank from, but you further realize you're not alone. Contentedly basking around the pool are about a half dozen little turtles.
Oh, okay. Someone's watching
It's gonna be
every
a
time we
man.
have a secret moment.
How you gonna do
nestled,
it?
nestled into the edges of the sand where it meets the water, lounging in the flickers of moonlight as it breaks through the trees and fronds above you.
Oh, look. Little friends.
And I would like to reach down and pet a turtle.
Yeah, roll animal handling with advantage. Heavy dice.
Wow.
It's two 15s. That's a 19 for both then.
Yeah, I'd say as you reach down to pet one of the turtles, its neck like shoop comes out like cranes like up to look at you.
This is incredible.
This is great. Wow. Lucky for them that there's a freshwater pond.
I know we've got a whole purpose thing, right?
Mhm, yes.
To save everybody, and I truly wouldn't trade that for the world. I just wonder if maybe for a little bit we could pretend to be just kind of normal.
I will clear off a space like amongst the turtles for us to just like sit. And I'll put my feet like in the water.
Yeah.
Uh,
The turtles, almost, as you approach, kind of like scoot to your little turtle spots.
the second that I met you, time stopped having really any meaning.
Well,
I suppose, I guess, technically when we met, time got very confusing as a concept.
that makes sense.
But what I mean to say is time stopped. And the only moments that I feel the wheel of time turning or the sands falling through an hourglass, like painful granules rubbing against my skin, is when you're not here. So as long as you would like, this can be our home for a little bit, no matter what.
Okay. If we do the whole thing and we save the city and the people
Yes, in the future and
in the future, and
us, in a way.
where are you gonna go after?
Whew, that's a question, isn't it, up, pal? And I look at one of the turtles. No shit, that's a pretty good move. I have been a shipwright for so long, sailing out, chasing some sort of calling. That's all I've really ever known. I don't have that feeling anymore. So I don't know, but I suppose it would be wherever you're going. That's where I would go. A promise. That's a promise, Kurse. It's the only magic I have is my promise.
Okay. I don't know where that is, but I'd love to go somewhere.
Oh, that sounds fun. Did you hear that, Bal? And I look at the turtle.
And Kurse, did you try the Ishtasukari as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take a sip.
As you sip, sitting here with your feet in the water, cool and refreshing, sitting on the sand surrounded by turtles, you sip the drink, and it's smooth, light, very slightly effervescent, and although this is hard to describe, it tastes a bit like the night, like the warmth of a full moon, the sweetness of an evening breeze, and the kiss of starlight. It's very refreshing, and you feel, as you're drinking it now, unbeknownst to you, the way it was intended to be drunk, which is under a full moon. You feel a connection to something a little bit beyond yourself, and you understand why the Tabaxi venerate the moon the way they do, Ishtaska. You feel a sense of wholeness and belonging, as though you were part of something bigger than just yourself. That there's more beyond that you could connect to, or is waiting to welcome you into something more than just the here and the immediate now.
If I try to like reach out to that essentially and grasp onto it a little bit, like kind of disappearing from her body for a second and feeling this like weird connection and like having a connection to magic.
Sure.
I would like to try and just kind of like grab onto that in an effort to understand his connection to the moon.
Yeah. Okay, hell yeah. So you have the Ishtasukari, and you're reaching out to what you feel that connection to the moon. Now, granted, you may not know or be participating in the ritual brewing or consumption of it, or the process precisely the Tabaxi go through, but there's still that line drawn that you can follow down. And I'd say if, Omar, Gybe, if Kurse were to get just like a little sensation, a little touch or taste of what your or your people's connection to the moon would be, what would she perceive through that thin string she's strung?
Ooh, okay. Of my people, I would say it's the sensation of comfort, of moonlight, especially full moonlight. Picture a village surrounded by palm trees, and it's safe to go out at night because it is bathed in light, and it's like a presence, like a comforting presence, like a midnight blanket. But that's not Gybe's sensation.
Mm-hmm.
Gybe's is not that image or that moment. Gybe's is the moon, and then where the sky meets the water, and it's impossible to tell the difference, but you know that it has to start somewhere. And then the rippling line of the moonlight, as if it's a beckoning trail of just, you feel like if you could just wander that path, as crooked and broken as it is, as imperfect as it is, you would somehow enter the sky and just stand before the moon herself. And that's Gybe's connection.
When Kurse kind of like comes back a little bit.
Are you okay? Is this thing poisoned?
Okay.
Okay, great. I'm sorry. I'm a little anxious.
You don't have to be. Actually, it's maybe the safest we've ever been.
That's true.
Maybe that's what's causing it. We don't really know how to slow down. I would follow you to the moon.
Wow. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. And for you, I would burn down the highest, most fortified citadel in massive pink flames. So wherever you were, you would know. Nothing could keep us apart.
And what an evening you had. This moment, this breath of normalcy in an otherwise tumultuous and maddeningly odd adventure. But for right now, for tonight, you get to have a break. Just you, the turtles, and the moon. Hoping that one day, perhaps, you could return to this feeling again, to this place, when all is said and done, if all is to be said and done. But oh, you can hear the approaching clamor, and you know that your friends have made their way to the island.
Oh, god damn these people. Oh, yeah.
This has been a lovely little reprieve, and now it will be a lovely little evening, a little party for all.
As everyone's approaching, Kurse just like leans in and kisses him on the cheek. And then like retreats back really quickly.
Because Tabaxi can't really blush, as is the makeup. Yeah, the fur puffs out a little bit on the cheeks, and Gybe's eyes kind of dilate like a little bit. I'm just like, oh.
Like you saw a bird.
Yeah. And just like kind of standing up like, hey everybody, Bri, what the fuck are you doing here?
And you see your friends break through the tree line with snacks, with planks possibly salvaged somewhere from the boat for boogie boarding, and with all manner of fun little party implements to enjoy the island for the night as you all have the time of your lives, if briefly, on this little drop of paradise. And that is where we are ending for today. Thank you all for joining in our little series of Banesbreak vignettes. This has been wonderful. Goodbye. Have a wonderful time. Peace out, everybody.